Hello, I have a ton of fall, witchy, spooky, atmospheric books to recommend to you guys. Disclaimer, this is not an exhaustive list. Some of these books you've probably already read, you've probably already heard of them. This is not going to be like a groundbreaking video of any kind, which is honestly why I tend to not do these videos, but I love fall. I love all things Halloween and fall and spooky, and some of you have requested that I make a video like this, so here I am. Let's first talk about all of the like YA young mind friendly type books. Okay, first off, I have this little graphic novel called Fangs. It's by Sarah Anderson. It is so cute. It's about a vampire and a werewolf. I read this a couple years ago and it's just really fun and short and sweet. So if you want to add a book to your September, October, November TBR, this is a really good one to add because it's really short and it's really fun. It's really cute. Next up, we have Kingdom of the Wicked. And this is actually insane that I'm adding this book to this list because I did not like this book. I didn't like the second book, but I loved the third book so much that I actually want to reread this book. And yeah, so we're following a witch named Amelia. Her sister is murdered, and so she is trying to find who killed her sister and what happened, and it's really, really witchy and atmospheric. And that was one of the things that I do remember from this book, is that it does have pretty good vibes. She's also Italian and there's lots of cooking. But yeah, this is a really popular series, so if you haven't heard of it, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a pretty fun time. Now, I did dislike it the first time I read it, but the third book, and I think it's actually really cool that I disliked the first two, and then the third book I loved, and it kind of changed how I see the first two books, which is an unpopular opinion because a lot of people love the first two and then dislike the third. But yeah. Okay, and then we have The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. This one I actually annotated. I think I read this in 2021 or 2022. It was whenever it came out. And this one we're following Ren, who is a reaper, and she collects souls in the streets of London. And this is really good. It's very atmospheric and it's definitely Japanese inspired. It's half Shinigami. I have a whole review video on this book, but it's really old, so I do not recommend that you watch it. I remember loving this book, and it's pretty atmospheric. And it's got like a spider scene. I think I remember some kind of spider scene or something. I don't know, but it's pretty good for a fall read. I would definitely recommend that one. Then we have a very obvious recommendation. This is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shay Earnshaw. And if you're a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, I highly recommend that you read this book. It is so, so good. And we're following Sally, who becomes the queen of Halloween Town, and she uncovers this passageway or this doorway to, I think it's like Dreamland or something, and it kind of like unravels a series of events. And yeah, this book is just really, really cute, and it's not too long either. It's like 300 pages, and the text is like pretty big. Oh, I did a lot of annotating. I really love this book. Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorite Halloween and Christmas movies, so I adored this. Next up is a YA thriller that is actually very, very popular. It has a whole TV show on it now, but A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. If you're looking for like a fun thriller, highly recommend this one. I'm not going to say too much because I feel like so many people have already heard about it, but I want to add this because I love this. I gave it 5 stars. Trigger warnings though, there is discussion for SA and other things, so just be mindful of that if you want to pick it up. Next up is The Weight of Blood. This is a Carrie retelling, and it is better than the original. I read Carrie in 2021 and I hated it. I thought it was so boring. I just was so disappointed with that book. I love the movie, but the book is just not my vibe. But this is so good. Like, I gave this book 4.5 stars. I loved it. It is so good. We're following Maddie, who goes to this school that still has segregation. Not only does this book deal with racism, but it just does it in a really, really intriguing and entertaining way. Definitely add it to your September, October TBR. Okay, next up is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. I read this book. This is one of the first books I read this year. I gave it 5 stars. I'm obsessed with this book. So in this book, we're following Iris and her 2 sisters, I believe. They go missing as children and then they come back and then like their features start changing. I don't remember like too specifically, but they start changing and weird things happen. I am not doing this book justice. But you guys, this book is very, very atmospheric. On the back, someone says it's dark and delicious. I would say that's exactly a perfect description. It says, "This story will steal up your spine, slip beneath your skin, and stick to you like honey." Just go read it. It's so good. This was on my TBR for way too long. It sat on my shelves for such a long time. And whenever I finally picked it up, I was like, oh my God, why did I take so long to read this book? It's so good. Okay, my SD card was full, so I had to delete some stuff. Next up is Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This one is so good. I can vividly remember certain scenes from this book, and I read this, I think, in 2021. It's been a few years. And this one we're following Emmanuelle, and she leaves this puritanical society place that she lives. And I just remember her like being in the woods. I remember her being at some like witch's house or something. It's very witchy and it's very atmospheric, and I definitely recommend it. See, this is another reason why I'm like really bad at these recommendation videos, because I can't remember a lot of details about the books, but I just know that I really loved it, really enjoyed it, and highly recommend for your fall TBR. And then we have House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. This one is the same author as The Year of the Witching. Same author as this. Okay, so I loved this. So when this book came out, I obviously read it. And this one is a retelling. It has vampires. What's it a retelling of? I cannot remember it starts with a B, I think. And this one we're following Marion, and she is in poverty and she gets an opportunity to serve as a blood maid at this, I think it's like a manor. This is a sapphic gothic horror, and it's definitely one that you should read. I didn't like it as much as The Year of the Witching, but it's still a really good book. I just think The Year of the Witching is a bit stronger, but if you like that one, also pick up this one. Okay, next I want to talk about books that are not romance or dark romance or smutty. We're gonna get into those soon in just a minute, but these are kind of like adult-ish or whatever. I don't know where to categorize them, but The Year of the Witching, this one actually does have smut from what I can remember. I read this in 2020 and I really love this book. It's really, really long, but it's kind of a vibe, you know, like it takes place in New Orleans and it's very atmospheric. It's very long, but ooh, it's got that like really old book smell to it. But yeah, this is by Anne Rice. It's The Witching Hour. I mean, it's pretty iconic. I definitely recommend you, if you don't want to, if you can't like dedicate yourself to reading this whole book, definitely check out the audiobook, because that's kind of what I did. I read as much as I could physically, but then I had the audiobook. I would like go on long walks and stuff. And I remember this just being like such a vibe for me. So yeah, I highly recommend this. And then I have Carmilla, which is a lot shorter. So very much different in types of books, but this is a classic and it's a sapphic vampire-esque thing. If you haven't read it, I definitely recommend that you read it. It'd be good for like a readathon type thing. I really liked it whenever I read it. I think I gave it 5 stars. And then we have another long book. So this is Empire the Vampire. Again, pretty popular book, but if you haven't read it, it's perfect for like the fall. Especially it's just got like the perfect fall vibes, but it's a vampire book if you can't tell by the title. And we're following Gabriel de Leon, and he's kind of like telling the story of the downfall of his entire life to this other monster that has captured him, and it's just really good. I've read this book 3 times now, but yeah, it's really, really good. It's pretty epic. Okay, now we can get into the dark romance, smutty, spooky books. I forgot to mention A Dowry of Blood. I feel like everyone knows about it, but it's a sapphic Dracula retelling. It's so good, and it's not very long, so if you haven't read this already, you have to read this ASAP. And I am going to try and do these kind of rapid fire because I don't know how much more memory my card has, and I don't really want to delete much else off of this card. So rapid fire, smutty, dark romance books, perfect for fall. We're starting off with Phantom by Greer Rivers. This one is a Phantom of the Opera retelling, and it is perfect for fall. I mean, do I really need to say anything else? Phantom of the Opera retelling. Also, the cover is stunning. This can be read on KU for free. Yeah, it's really good. Okay. Next up, we have some Karina Hal, or Hallie, however you say it. This is Black Sunshine. This is a vampire romance. Love, adore, literally obsessed, because it's a series. So we have Black Sunshine, then we have The Blood is Love, and then we have Orange, or Blood Orange. And so that's the reading order. You need to read a Black Sunshine, then Blood is Love, then Blood Orange. And I gave Blood Orange 5 stars. It's so good. This is a Dracula retelling. Oh, it's so good. I highly, highly recommend this vampire series. It's just such a vibe. Then we have another popular book. This is Her Soul to Take. I mean, once this book got picked up by a publisher, it got really popular, and I see it all over the place now, like in Barnes & Noble and stuff. But this one is very, very atmospheric. I know that it takes place like on a campus, and I don't remember like Ray and Leon. Oh, also I remember that Ray has a YouTube channel and she's like a ghost hunter or something like that. Yeah, she hunts ghosts and she summons a demon on accident, and that demon is Leon. The demon starts stalking her and it's just such a vibe. It's like really perfect for the fall. And then I have the Mindfuck series. This is a revenge romance. So this is books 1 through 5. This is a serial killer romance. So she gets revenge on the people that have wronged her. And she's also dating, I think he's an FBI agent, or he's some kind of like agent of some sort. She starts dating him. Meanwhile, she's getting revenge on people who really ruined her, or tried to ruin her life, almost ruined her life, whatever. She's getting back her power, and it's so, so good. I know you're probably like, serial killer romance, are you crazy? But if you've read them before, then you know the vibe. They're really good. Okay, so highly recommend Mindfuck series. So good. And then on that same brand, we have There Are No Saints and There Is No Devil. I honestly can't remember which one is first. It's been a long time since I read these. I think I read them in 2021, but this is also a serial killer romance, and it's just really good. Okay, the vibes are vibing with this one. This one's by Sophie Lark. I used to have the original covers, like with the people on them, but I unhauled them and got these instead. And I kind of wish I had kept the people covers because they're really pretty, but alas. Okay, and then we have Don't Hex and Drive by Juliet Cross and The Wolf Gone Wild. This is actually a whole series, but I recently read Don't Hex and Drive, and it's following a witch and a werewolf, I think. I know she's a witch. I'm pretty sure he's a werewolf. He's also he's like a famous Bollywood star. That's what I was trying to think of. He's a Bollywood star. But yeah, this series is a really fun time. I look forward to continuing the series. These are not the original covers. They're like special editions that are not that special, but anyway. Okay, and then we have, this one is a hit or miss for a lot of people, but Gothicana is such a vibe. It's a dark academia student teacher. So if you're not into that, don't pick this up because they're obviously power imbalance. But I read this in 2021 and I had a really, really great time with it. It's very atmospheric. It's such a vibe. I loved it. I highly recommend it. It's not going to be for everyone. It's okay if you dislike it. If you read it and you're like, Lachlan, this is the worst book I ever read. Why would you recommend that to me? I don't know. Okay, next up is Corrupt. I mean, clearly I am a basic dark romance kind of girly because, again, this is not like groundbreaking recommendations, but this is perfect for October if you're wanting. This one takes place around October, like the whole series says, Devil's Night. It's called the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. I love their books so much, and this series is one of the first dark romance series I ever read, so I highly recommend it. It's just, yeah, it's a vibe. I don't know. I haven't reread the series in a long time. A lot of these books I have not reread in a really long time. So I don't know if I would still feel the same way as I did the first time I read them, but I just remember really liking them. And although my tastes have probably changed a bit, so I might not feel as strongly, or I might feel strong, or like I might love these books more the second time around. I have no idea. I have read Gothicana twice though, and I loved it just as much the second time. And I have read this one twice, but it's been a while since I read, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a fun time. If you've never read dark romance, I would say tread lightly and don't come for me if you end up hating these books, okay? I'm just saying. I'm just trying to add to your TBR as if you need any help doing that. Yeah, okay, so that was really good rapid fire recommendations. I don't know how many books I have here, but I will count them and put the number on the screen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you made it this far and you want to let me know, go ahead and leave a jack-o'-lantern and a rose and a black heart. I don't know, leave whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do want more content from me, I have a Patreon. I have 4 different tiers for that, extra videos. The first tier is Cauldron Blessed. The second tier is Moonbeam. The third tier is Witch. And the fourth tier is Wicked Witch. So you can go check that out if you want. I also have an Instagram. I'll have that linked below. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me that you like my videos. And yeah, I just thank you so much. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you in my next video.
So I'm back to the velvet underground.